Hello again, everyone. I hope you are doing well. And it is day 2 of us all sheltering in place. And this is when things are starting to feel a little bit more real and weird, and hopefully without too many more changes coming our way. But hope you are doing all right. There's a few things I just wanted to mention. One is that this Sunday, the Sunday coming up, we are going to be doing a church service. That's right, it's still happening. Only instead of you coming to us, we're going to be coming to you. We are going to be coming to your house. How great is that? So yes, you can be ready with your cup of coffee and your jammies and all that good stuff, but it's going to happen. We're going to be doing our worship. We're going to be remembering how big and how great our God is. We're going to be going through some Bible teaching and learning some great things for how do we go through these times ahead. Yes, dealing with fear, but also with the other things that come with all of this, changes in our lives. And in fact, I was just thinking too, that now that we've been maybe on a day now working from home, or now even trapped at home a little more than we have been in the last several, there's some lessons that start to become more apparent. We're with these people that we call loved ones. And when you're around loved ones a lot, it gets kind of challenging sometimes. And I was just thinking of this great passage that the Apostle Paul writes in Ephesians, where he gives us some wonderful advice. And I want to read it to you. In chapter 6, verse 1, he says, or verse 2, he says, "Finally be strong in the Lord and in his great power." And it reminded me of just the fact that, when we're going to endure whatever we got to endure, maybe it's just sheltering in place that we have to endure, we don't want to do it in our own strength. We want to do it in God's strength. And that's what Paul is talking about. He says that you can have God's strength in your life. And that means just being tuned into him. It means being thoughtful. It means being prayerful. But Paul also reminds us of a really important spiritual fact. He says this, "Put on the full armor of God so that you can fight against the devil's evil tricks." And what he's saying is that this isn't just about a physical challenge or a physical problem or a proximity issue, a virus. It's not even going to be the people that we're in the house with or in the room with that are getting on our last nerve. That this is actually a bigger spiritual issue. And I love what he says next. He says next, "Our fight is not against people." Now that might be worth just saying out loud right where you are. Our fight is not against people. It's being reminded this is a much bigger thing that God is preparing us for. And it's people aren't the problem. The kids aren't the problem. The worries about them aren't the problem. The fights that start to come up, the frustration that's going to come up with the spouses and husbands or roommates or whoever you might be around, they're not really the problem. In fact, God wants to give us the strength so that we'll see that there is just opportunities in all of this. Paul goes on to say, "It's not against people on earth, but against the rulers and authorities and the powers of this world's darkness, against the spiritual powers of evil in the heavenly world." That this is going to be a spiritual battle. And so we just have to be prepared to fight that spiritual battle. And how does he recommend we do that? Well, you can read all of Ephesians 6 about putting on the armor of God. There's some great stuff, but I'm going to just jump to the end because I want to hear this one thing. It says, "Pray at all times with all kinds of prayers, asking for everything you need. To do this, you must be ready and never give up. Always pray for all of God's people." One of the great things that can never be taken away from any of us is that we can always pray. And I like how Paul writes here, pray all kinds of prayers, right? You may be used to praying at a certain time of the day or certain patterns or habits. Well, now you're home. Now life is different. Now there's a different schedule. Now there's different interruptions, so that means there's just going to be some different prayers, and be ready to pray those prayers and maybe even take breaks to pray those prayers, or even to do them as families or with those kids or with whoever you're around, but to take those times, those opportunities to engage each other in the spiritual battles and the spiritual challenges that are going on around us. I think at this point in time, it's so good for us to remember and to look around how God is at work. And so as we gather together for these moments and have services, it's great to even put out there as we connect with each other the ways in which we see God working and encouraging the people around us. Maybe not just in the church world, but also just on the street. I was in a coffee shop this morning talking with a proprietor and just hearing about how things are going on Main Street. And she was sharing that yesterday when the news came down, they'd only be able to do curbside pickups. That the owner of one of the local stores, the skateboard shop, Sword, came down and brought every restaurant owner an A-frame and a sign that they had made saying, "Hey, curbside pickups only." And she was just flabbergasted that they would do this for everybody. Nobody brought it up. She tried to give him free coffee. He turned it down, said, "I didn't do that for any of this. I just wanted this to be a blessing to serve you guys." So she said, go down there and support them. But I don't skateboard and I don't need a pair of Vans. But maybe you do. But great stuff is happening all around us. So let's focus on the positives and the great things and share some of the stories, especially on Facebook, especially on our social media, so other people can hear the best things that are going on around us as well. Again, I hope you guys stay safe. I hope you have a great evening, and we will see you back here again soon.